Good morning. It's morning for us anyway, and me and Marie, my chauffeur, are on the road early this morning because we have our Azure pickup today, and usually it's in the afternoon, but this morning it's early morning, which is great. We can check it off our list, get nice and stocked up on all the stuff that we are stocking up on, which this is going to be a big load, and you guys are going to want to stay tuned for a big stock up video coming on. But today we're just getting all of the things taken care of that we need to get done. We have had sunshine, so much beautiful sunshine these last few days. You got, tell me, many of you probably already have your garden in the ground, your plants planted, but for us in Illinois, it is just turning. So we have had a few days of beautiful, gorgeous sunshine. We all are a little pink from spending hours and hours and hours outside in the garden, outside doing yard cleanup. And today is no different. Today, the kids are doing school right now at home, and then we're gonna get back outside and continue to just chip away at all the things that need to get done around the house. So I think on the agenda today is get this Azure pickup done and out of the way and get it back home. And then I know we need to hook up the animal automatic waterers. This makes Marie very happy when she doesn't have to haul water anymore, because that's a big job. Take care of the automatic waterers for the horses, the steer, the sheep, have the creek, and then the automatic water for the chickens. The girls have been working on a really fun project. It was kind of Julianne's idea, but she roped her sisters into it, helping making a wild honey garden up in our front garden space. Julianne picked out a spot to kind of put up a living fence and is planting herbs and putting in some new beehives, and it's just so fun. So they're going to be working on that and continuing to finish that out. So anyway, come along for the day and just see what we're up to.
Alright, so I came home from work and the girls had an idea to get a, what are you guys calling this?
The wild honey garden.
It's a spot in our garden that we've decided this year that we're not going to try to grow things in. It's off to the side, and they wanted to utilize the space and make a wild honey garden. What is this?
It is basically well, you can see we fence this out with just sticks, really.
Okay.
So it's a very rough fence, very rustic. And then we are going to plant a bunch of different kinds of herbs, wildflowers mostly, and then we're actually gonna put 2 beehives there.
Okay. So you have a structure that you made here with a bunch of like old apple sticks and other sticks. And I think the idea is that we have some willow trees that we started growing from sticks last year. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna eventually be a living willow fence?
Yeah.
So we're gonna let these kind of grow and then start weaving them in as time goes, and you've planted like 9 or 12 willow trees around here.
You can weave them in, trim them back, whatever.
Or we can take clippings off of them and make more willow trees and like just start them from roots. So that's kind of nice thing about willow trees is they grow really easily. They're the fast growing willow trees that we got last year from some starts. So, and then in the honey garden here, you're also doing some natural habitat for like different bees and different bugs and insects.
Yeah, as you can see over here, Elise and I did this one yesterday. This is what I'm calling a bug hotel or a little bug house. And you just you create a safe haven, because in this whole area in the garden, we are constantly moving things, changing things. These will be things that are always there. So they will, any insects will be able to crawl in here and just stay there, and we won't have to mess with them at all. So they'll just be basically like a little safe zone for any bugs. So we have four of these kind of structures around this area, and we're just gonna let them be utilized by the insects and let them live their life in peace.
And it kind of goes with like, you can make, I know that we've looked up before, like making those mason beehives too, mm-hmm. where you can, like the mud bees and the mason bees, you can make spots for them to kind of put stuff in as well. And obviously we're gonna have some beehives here, so mm-hmm. there's honeybees there. So yeah, it's just gonna be a space that they can utilize. It was a space that we were gonna basically just kind of let like some, like I don't want to say weed cover, but just some cover crops go into here. And so it's a pretty big space that you can put in here, and then it will give the local pollinators and all that stuff, you know, just direct access to those things too. So it'll be neat to see how those things grow up. And then we're also getting a little late start on it, but we're planting some garlic up here this spring. You can plant garlic in the spring. We've got a couple different variety of hardneck garlic that we're planting. And then also today we have to get Marie's chicken waters and the pasture animals waters up and going for the automatic waters. We're transitioning from frost and freezing into spring and summer and taking care of animals and all that stuff. We're also going to be recommissioning the RPS solar pump out back and getting that up and going. If you want to see the RPS solar pump and how we're utilizing that, we have other videos on that. But basically, that is a solar pump out back by our spring that we're going to be getting back up in service. We wanted to protect it. It is an investment that you don't want to like let freeze and break. So we got a lot going on that we're transitioning from winter to now summer here.
Yeah.
So all good things.
Let's do it. You're supposed to eat the hay, not sit in it, right? Right? Tell me about your bunny, in case someone doesn't know. This is Charlotte. She is a Flemish giant New Zealand mix, and she is hopefully pregnant. With Toby's, Toby's crew, and Toby is a standard Rex. Oh, she's gonna love that. She's like, look at all this fresh grass and space.
Just getting Marie's water back up and going. I went to Roll King.
Yep.
And I got some fittings to make sure that I have the right fittings on this. And then we had a hole in the last like 30 feet. So
which happens in the winter.
Which is nice because it's poly pipe, so you can fix it. So we put our quick connects on here, and then that way we can have, during the non-frozen months, we can have Marie's water so she doesn't have to carry 40 gallons of water a day.
Which she has been doing.
By hand.
Just about. Maybe not 40, but a lot.
It's
a lot of water.
Yeah, we just use poly pipe, and I got a float bucket over here that we'll go over to in a second.
Okay.
And I had to fix, there was a midline leak in it that I didn't want to just patch up, because that just means another coupling that's going to fail.
Okay. Is it pretty safe to say that anyone that has watering systems or fencing systems, that you are almost guaranteed like
maintenance prone?
Yeah. But you're still thankful for it.
Yeah, because once you get it set up, it does save you the headache of
portable fencing.
Makes it portable, yeah. So we just use the, I think they're called Gator brand. I'm not sure. They're the quick connects that we use because you put them on the hose, and if you have to pop it off instead of trying to break the hose and all that stuff all the time,
it's really nice.
It makes it a lot easier. These lock in place, so they're locked. And then we just keep a hose whip here. We get hose whips because we found that trying to move the black poly pipe, oh, they're loud.
I know you guys are being sassy. They're telling you.
They don't, the poly pipe works for like your feeder line.
Yeah.
But using the hose line, there you go.
Here. So it's a little dirty because I have a brush up at the barn.
Yeah. So Marie takes and swishes the brush around in here. So simple, easy setup. We have a float valve over there, which you can get those, I think it's a Dare float valve. You can get those at a lot of places. We just have for the chickens because they don't beat them up too bad.
No, not like the big animals.
We can just take and dump that and move it, and then with it being on a whip like this, we can move it around the pasture space where they're at, so it's not just making a mud puddle in one spot.
And Marie moves it just about every day to a new spot.
Yeah, she does a quick dump, a rinse out,
because they're dirty. Yeah, animals are dirty, so they make
Give them fresh water,
yeah.
keeps them healthier.
I didn't get to really talk to you this morning because we did that Azure pickup, but what's your plan? What do you have on your list today?
Water. We're getting automatic waters in place.
Jules mentioned something about garlic, or is that possible?
We need to get water garlic in the ground too.
And yesterday, you and William got the pump up and running.
Yeah, we took some real quick footage of us back with the RPS pump, got that back up in service, so now we've got the spring water being pumped up to the holding tank slowly here over the next couple days. That pumps at about 3.5, 4 gallons per minute, and that brings that spring water that's from out back about 3,000 feet up to the front of the property. We do not have frost-free animal waters and all that stuff in place right now, so we're just making do with, during the nicer seasons, we can take the work off of moving water around, and this helps a lot. So having this water here for the chickens, that's, like I said, it's upwards of 50 gallons of water a day.
Because we have 200 birds usually on the farm.
Yeah. We talked about this last year, but we want the pasture to get more established. So we got more hay so that the big animals and the sheep can kind of stay isolated to a smaller spot, and then hopefully the desire is that we increase our regenerative farming, our rotational grazing, and our pastures get kind of replenished this year. We're going to sell off a big chunk of our sheep and get them reduced so that the amount of feeding that's going on the pasture is reduced. So I just got to talk about this with another group that stopped by this morning, but it's about making adjustments. Like, you're never going to get a home run 100% of the time, but if you can see what's going on, see where some mistakes are being made, and then make adjustments, you try to do better from then forward. And they have an opinion about that.
Yeah, the turkeys and geese here, we can move away. And with the sheep, we actually love having them here, but one thing they do really well is reproduce, like, extremely well.
Yeah.
So what that means is at some point you need to sell off bigger chunks versus like the onesie-twosies here and there.
Yeah, and we found that the grass-fed lamb, we like a lot. We don't like traditional like grain-fed lamb. It gets really lamby tasting, and
conventional, yeah.
And a lot of the lamb varieties that people are raising are more for meat production, so they are the ones that have wool. And when you have wool, you have a higher content of lanolin, which gives them that lamby flavor, versus the hair sheep that don't have as much lanolin in their fat structure. I want to get into showing you guys some of these really cool things that we've got for like watering your pasture and making that rotational and moving. We've got some systems in place, but we need to have the well pressure, the water, to be able to drive all that. So whether that's getting bigger holding tanks or whether that's getting a better well system in place, that's all kind of contingent.
It's like our first week of sunny days, so it's all hands on deck.
Grass growing day.
Yeah, grass growing day. It's all hands on deck to bring the farm from the winter stage to spring. So let's do it.
We need to get some garlic in the ground.
Okay.
And Julian's jumping up and down on the fence.
So Julian is no different from when she was like a 5-year-old and I found her climbing on the fridge. She's still climbing stuff. Hi, Phoebes.
It's good.
Hey, Mama.
Not bad.
Hey, Mama. So this week, I think it's this week, my first and only round of meat birds come in. But you guys know, if you've been following along, that Tabitha wanted to hatch out some chicks, and she got 10 little chicks out of her batch, which it was super cold the day she collected eggs, so I was surprised that we got 10.
He's a pretty girl.
No, don't lick me.
Garlic hands.
Me?
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yes. It is? What's the joke?
This is the Brian Hickman special from New York, the one that made our cars smell the whole time on a road trip.
It's great.
That was lovely.
So
So we never got around to planting garlic last fall. It was our goal to do that, but sometimes life happens and that's okay. So we just held off, and we've been holding on to it. We're gonna plant it now, early spring. You can plant it now and enjoy it as like garlic scapes, or like green garlic, you know, that you could chop up and have that flavor for stews and soups and all that. Or you can put it in the ground now and let it go until the fall, even late August or fall, and then harvest it going into before your first frost and stuff like that. You may not have as big of garlic as you would have had letting it go through the whole winter, but it's totally fine. So anyway, Josh and Jules are already started.
All right, so you saw how loose that soil was here, and that is from the last 5 years. We've been collecting truckload upon truckload of ground up tree trimmings from our local tree guys, thanks to Chop and Drop. And we've been letting that break down and become super healthy, organic matter with no added stuff to it. And it's just becoming like the best thing to grow in for like weeds and for plants.
Well, and letting chickens manure over here for a season.
Yep, we let the chickens manure into it.
Rabbits manure is in here.
So, and it doesn't happen overnight. That's the big thing. People talk about like lasagna gardening, back to Eden gardening, all that kind of stuff. It takes time to get it established, but all the years of letting it break down and get established turns into like, I don't know, gold.
Like you can dig down and it's soft the whole way.
And it's moist and cool. I mean, it's just it's a whole different climate down there. There's tons of bugs and microbes and all that stuff in there. So,
and let's be honest, it does grow weeds well too. You have to stay on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight, but if you keep on layering it and you keep on adding to it, it just keeps breaking down. And this is like a couple feet worth of truckloads that we've got spread out here. So super good. I mean, for the most part, you don't have to worry about trees because trees don't get sprayed like other like vegetation would. And when they grind up the trees, it's just years and years and years worth of organic matter that's going to break down for you then. So, yeah, good soil.